Hello everyone, and welcome back to what will probably be the last video in our tmap introductory series. And I want to wrap up this series by talking about tmap or range. And tmap or range is another way that we can incorporate multiple maps into a single document. So if you watched the facet maps video, which is the one that came directly before this, you know that we've discussed how we can use facet maps to separate out a data set based on a variable. And we can do a choropleth map on that, and we can see trends based on, again, based on a factor variable. But let's say that you maybe wanted to include multiple different choropleths, or maybe multiple maps that don't share geography. You would do that with something called tmap underscore arrange. And so what I want to do is I want to quickly run through. I'm just going to make three really quick choropleth maps of the blocks data set. And so I'm just going to really quickly, again, we've already seen this before, so I'm just be mostly copying and pasting to get these in here. Map 1, map 2, map 3, and note that I'm not immediately calling them, and that's going to make a lot of more sense here in a second. And we're going to do blocks. And then, oops, I'm going to call tm polygons. And I'm going to do, again, the p underscore rent or CC. This is that renter occupancy data. And then what I want to do is I want to compare three different classification approaches. So we're going to do an n of 6 in each case, and then we're going to do a style. The first one we're going to do equal. And then, as always, palette, we're going to use the BUGN palette. I'm going to copy this over. Okay. So I'm going to change the second map to be SD, and the third map to be the quantile. So I'm going to run these so that they get stored in as a variable in our studio session. Okay, so we now have three maps, and you'll notice again I did not immediately execute them as we have in the past. And that's because they're going to go into this new function called tmap, which is the only time we've ever seen the full tmap, right? Normally we've been doing tm. In this case, it's the full tmap underscore arrange. So I want to take a second. I want to point out the quick, the syntax menu. And you'll see here that we have three dots followed by a comma, and then ncall equals na and nrow equals na. And those are going to be the three main things we're going to focus on. The three dots, this just means any number of tmap objects that we want, within reason. Obviously, if you try too many, it will get mad. But within reason, right, any number of tmap objects can be passed sequentially. So, for example, in our case, map 1, map 2, and map 3 would all be passed in as the first set of parameters. The ncall and nrow, these determine how you arrange the maps. So for example, if you do ncall equals 2, it will force the maps to be arranged into two columns. If you do nrow equals 3, it will force the data to be arranged into three rows. So let's go ahead and do a quick example here. Let's do map 1, comma, map 2, comma, map 3. And then We want these to be all in one row, so we'll do number of rows equals 1. This will force it, not now, n row. This will force it to be in a single row. So if we run this, you will see that we get a little bit of an issue with sizing, which we're not going to worry about that. But you'll see that what it's done is it's created a single row. Now, we don't have any titles or anything like that because we made these maps pretty hastily. But you'll see that we do have 3 different tmaps set up in a single map document. So hopefully that kind of makes sense as to how the tmap arrange works. We can do, just to show you how this works, we can arrange them in the same way, map 1, map 2, map 3. If we wanted them all to be in a single column, we would do n col equals 1. This will force them into a column. If we run that, you'll see now they're all in a single column. And again, there's some sizing issues, but we're not going to worry about that right now. The nice thing about tmap arrange is that tmap arrange doesn't actually care if the different data sets share geometry, so or geography for that matter. And so what I mean by that is I can make a map 4, and I can set that equal to tm underscore shape of, so the Georgia data set, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Georgia data set, it is all of the counties in the state of Georgia. So clearly it's nowhere near New Haven. It's in a completely different part of the United States. So if we were to plot these on the same map, they would not overlap at all. We will add TM polygons for completeness. I'm not worried about changing the color or anything like that. I just want to show you the point here that if we, let's copy and paste this code here. That if we bring down this tmap arrange, that if we add in a 4th map, now map 4, and we run this, we scroll down a little bit, you'll see that it's thrown in this 4th map here. So even though Georgia shares no common geography or geometry with New Haven, you can see that the tmap arrange allowed us to put them together. And then just to sort of emphasize that we can change the number of rows and columns here. Actually, let's copy that one more time. And we're going to do map 4. And we're going to do 2 columns or 2 rows this time. So we should get it in a nice little box of 2 by 2. And if we run this, you'll see that that's exactly what we got. We have 2 up top, we have 2 rows and 2 columns. So I know this was a little quick. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully you see the difference between tmap arrange and facet mapping, with the biggest difference being that tmap arrange lets you bring in data that doesn't share geography. So hopefully this made sense. Again, if anything was confusing, I encourage you to go back, rewatch the parts you're confused about, and as always, please reach out. Thank you.